Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. We are so glad you're joining us here today. My name is Jess. I am the marketing director at BeBalanced Natural Weight Loss Centers, which I'll tell you a little bit about in a second if you don't know who we are. I'm also joined by Carrie Whightman of Carrie Fitness.
Hi, everybody.
Super excited to have her
So
here today.
excited to see
I know.
you.
Excited to see you again. So we did a webinar together last month. We kind of fell in love, whatever. But we thank you guys for being here. If you could just let us know where you're coming from, your name. I know we have centers all around the country.
Aw, look at Brenda. We've got Brenda and Deborah and Sue.
Olivia,
Aw.
Kay, Glenda, Dave. Awesome. We're so glad you guys are here today. So as you can see on screen, we're talking everything injections today, the skinny on weight loss injections. Just want to say off the bat that this is a judgment-free zone. This is not against injections. It's just educational in nature. We want to talk to you guys who are on the injections, who are thinking about injections, who might be wanting to get off the injections but are not sure what to do. So we're going to walk you through that today. We're also going to talk a little bit about BeBalanced. And Carrie is actually a client of ours, even though, how long have you been in the fitness industry, Carrie?
Oh, 30 years, everybody.
We're not aging her by that.
30 years. It's really been it's flown by because I do exactly what I was meant to do, which is help people move more and get in the best shape of their lives and do it with a big smile and have a lot of fun.
Well, we love that. No, and it's just wonderful to have you on here too, because obviously you've seen throughout, I mean, as a fitness in the fitness industry, you've seen all the different things come out with weight loss. And we're going to talk a little bit about your background too, because you actually were in the pharmaceuticals. So, but anyway, let me jump into your, thank you everybody for here. Maribel, I know you, Maribel. Thank you everyone for being here. So we're going to jump into a couple of slides. I'm just going to start off by telling you a little bit about BeBalanced if you guys are not familiar with us. At BeBalanced, we help women and men balance their hormones naturally, which ends in fast weight loss, 15 to 22 pounds in the first 30 days, which sounds insane, but also finding relief from menopause and PMS symptoms, hot flashes, night sweats, all those things some of us ladies at our particular age might be going through. So that's what we address. And then we help clients keep it off, which is extremely important. And I'll just want to say, although we are non-medical, we do work with clients who are on the injections to help, their journey along that line. We help people figure out what to do after they've gotten off. They want to maintain that weight or just help them through that transition. Did you look like you were going to say something?
Well, I just want to say that because BeBalanced it has saved me with, and we'll get into that the average for all of my clients who have become members or clients of BeBalanced, their average for sure has been a straight 10 pounds. So 10 pounds within like 2 weeks. So it's pretty quick. And that's sticking with like eating everybody. And it's a program that wants you to eat, but eat well, eat good foods and foods that are going to help take inflammation down.
But all of these symptoms you're seeing on screen are symptoms of a hormone imbalance. So if you want to throw in the chat, if you're experiencing any of these, 1 to 5, 2 to 3, but a lot of women are going through this, right? So we hit that 35, 40-year-old age and all of a sudden, even younger girls, but you're starting to have, those night sweats, your brain fog a little bit. And it's not fun, but what we're here to tell everybody is that we help this in a natural way. But I don't want to say too much on what we do right now, but just kind of jumping in how we do it. So all of our protocols, we have custom protocols depending on your needs, whether it's to maintain weight, take it off, just dealing with symptoms. But it's all going to come with a whole foods diet, real food, natural supplementation of the highest quality. I know Carrie loves to talk about our supplements, stress management, because stress, we'll talk about later, is one of the main culprits of weight gain on top of the other symptoms of hormone imbalances. And then you're going to get one-on-one coaching with our coaches. I know Carrie has her own coach, and then this community support. So as you can see on screen too, we talked about that 15 to 21 pounds and helping with all of those symptoms, but the biggest key is keeping them off. So that's my little spiel on BeBalanced. Now we're going to get into sort of the nitty gritty of this presentation. So how do the injections work? So I'm going to let Carrie take this and tell us a little bit about your background, how these medications started. Go ahead.
Sure. So I've worked for AstraZeneca, which is a very large, big pharma company and specialized in diabetes for the second half of my 14 years with them. So about 7 years, I was focused all on type 2 diabetic medications, primarily injectables. And there were some injectables that were out prior that we partnered with, and they were the GLP-1 class. So working with a type 2 diabetic is it's something that you have to understand. You're going to meet with your primary care doctor and also a specialist, an endocrinologist, to make sure they're monitoring you, because the side effects are real. So when you take any medication, it's really to help you, number one, just work with your insulin levels and control your blood sugars. So that is where these injectables have been successful, but there's side effects that come with that. A lot of side effects with your kidneys, with your heart, with just so many different things that are really out of your control, because the medication is primarily used to treat type 2 diabetes. Now, getting into the ease and the ability to make it a little more user friendly for the patients, that's where the injectables came out with once weekly. And you would think that would be a big help, but then compliance became an issue because people forget to take that medication once a week. They actually need a family member to give them that injectable once a week. When I would go in and meet with the doctors, and this happened between about 2010, 2017, really what I was focused mostly on was who it was appropriate for and who it wasn't. So the fact that we in pharmaceutical sales and in the pharmaceutical industry know that medications are approved by the FDA, you have to be really careful about who it's not made for. And that's not somebody who's looking for just weight loss. And that's where we decided to come out today to talk to you a little bit more about the pros and cons of using an injectable for weight loss, because it's really not designed for that. It can help you, but there are long-term effects. And as somebody who was in the industry to make sure it was treating type 2 diabetics and not just people off the street who want to lose weight, I feel like I need to do my due diligence in helping all of you understand that there's medications for type 2 diabetes like Ozempic and others in the class. But then there's also programs out there to help you lose weight and help your hormones and give you the faith and the control to take the weight off by doing the work a little bit with a coach like BeBalanced to control your hormones with diet and proper exercise, so you don't have to worry about side effects. And I am a client of BeBalanced. I'm very passionate about BeBalanced because I've looked into every program out there. I did meet with a lot of the doctors, endocrinologists, weight loss physicians, MDs, to kind of help me with my hormones, get me under control, because guess what? I struggle with low blood sugars. My sister's a type 1 diabetic who's 1 year older than me. I'm going to be 50 at the end of the beginning of June. And so I'm going through changes because my body is almost 50 years old. I'm going to have issues with inflammation, stress, sleep issues, the fact that I have different cravings again. I mean, I think that cycle goes every 7 years. So I just thought that this would be very helpful for us to help you all feel more confident with either staying on BeBalanced, getting back on BeBalanced, helping you if you are an injectable on a Ozempic. And also if you're curious about like, okay, well, maybe I think I could do BeBalanced, but now Carrie and Jess are going to help me actually say, yes, I'm going to get a free consultation, and I'll stop there.
No, that's wonderful. And the one thing I wanted to point out on the slide, so these benefits that they're talking about with these injections, they are real. However, they're only while you're on the injections. And we're going to talk about that a little bit too, because not a lot of people understand that too. So that when you go off, not only does the weight a lot of times come back, but those benefits as well. So when we talk about BeBalanced too, we're talking about a completely natural approach that has the same benefits plus more without these side effects. But we're just going to get into a couple things about the injections. Again, this is not negative. These are just facts that we're going to kind of run through here. Okay. So I did want to start off with this. I don't know if anyone saw this segment that Oprah put out. For me personally, because I believe in our business so strongly and helping women and men from a natural standpoint. And, you know, I'm not going to come on here and negatively talk about Oprah. You know, certain things work for different people. But one main thing that she had talked about was this food noise. So one of the benefits that come with the injections are that it helps to minimize your appetite. But there are different caveats with that. But one thing she had talked about was that it wasn't your fault. But that kind of makes a shift in sort of our thinking with, weight loss too, because it kind of takes your power away. If you are like, okay, there's something wrong with me. This is like the magic pill. And there is no magic pill. I think everyone knows that, regardless of what you're choosing to do. But she talked a lot about that food noise too. And what's interesting from what I know and what we learn at BeBalanced too is that it can be a real thing. But when you think about what's in our food, the additives they add in, high fructose corn syrup, like everyone's addicted to sugar. By nature, we are all having these issues, and it could be, your stress eating, trauma. You could have low dopamine levels, and really imbalanced hormones cause these cravings, cause this sort of noise in your head. And so that's one thing I love about our program is that you're going to be able to minimize this and help this balance your blood sugar, all these things through a natural approach. Did you want to jump in on any of that?
I think it's important also that when people say that you lose your appetite, that's a number one side effect of these medications is you're nauseous.
Yeah.
I have clients who have gone on these injectables and they can't stay on it because they're nauseous. So it's designed to actually, suppress your appetite by kind of making you feel like, I just don't want to eat. And as a trainer and as a nutritionist and wanting to make sure people really feel good about, how they feel, like you want to feel really good.
Yeah.
It's because you're also eating foods and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel you're getting stronger every day with what foods you're putting in your mouth and how you're moving your body, the way we have been designed to take control of ourselves. And it's you against you. I say this every single day. It's you against you. Now, and you've got to just figure out what's going to work. And that's where I've said over and over and over, I mean, thousands and thousands of people with BeBalanced have benefited from this program because it's not going to give you the side effects. You're not going to experience the terrible ups and downs with, your blood sugars or that feeling of, gosh, I'm so nauseous. I can barely get out of bed today.
Yeah. Well, except for the side effects of like better sleep, more energy, less hot flashes, but enough of that for now. Okay. So this is some things if you are considering the injections that we just want to kind of briefly talk about. So when we talk about the weight loss, right? So this is what's on their websites. If you see, their ads out there, it's 15% of your body weight, right? But over 68 weeks. Now, Carrie, I don't know how about you, but something that's going to take me to 30 pounds at 68 weeks. Like I'm like, I'm sorry, I need to fit in this dress or this bikini in summer. Like that's a long time. And the interesting thing is did a lot of research on this. Only half of people are even reaching that 15%. And mind you, in all of their fine print, you need to have a calorie deficit. You need to be exercising, and it's supposed to come with counseling. So, I mean, that to me is not very impressive.
I have no idea how long 68 weeks is, but all I do know is that summer is 8 weeks away,
right?
And that the time is now, and people really do like all of a sudden react, and they're like, "Oh, well, let me try this." You just have to understand. I mean, it would BeBalanced. I lost, I think, about 12 to 14 pounds within the first 3 weeks, and that was really my goal. But then the fat kind of just flew off as well at the same time within the first month. And in 4 weeks, I was at my goal weight. I felt like I lost the body fat. My muscles were still there and strong. Mm-hmm. And I also still had tight skin. I didn't have that saggy skin. So I was excited about just how BeBalanced, it does exactly what it says it's going to do, and that you have the proper support to keep you on track. And then you're there sooner because you really are trying to do it, I think, first for an event or because you're about to celebrate something or because summer's right around the corner.
Sure. Okay, it's interesting you talk about, keeping your muscle, things like that, because the one side effect, so half of that weight that people are losing is lean body mass. This is not me making this up. I mean, these are studies, and lean body mass is bone and muscle. And as someone in the fitness industry, I mean, tell us how important, obviously bones, you want them, you prevent osteoporosis as we age, but muscle, I mean, you want to build muscle to burn your metabolism.
So muscle knows no age, everybody, and that's a fact. And so when you're going through change, especially with hormones, it can happen as early as, say, let's 35-ish, and then go all the way up to 65, 70 years of age. So when you're not strength training and you're kind of just on a weight loss program, there's a million diets out there. We all know that we've heard of, Atkins and keto and paleo and, fasting. And Now with the injectables, that weight loss, you do lose weight, but you also lose muscle if you're not strength training. So as a trainer, I strength train folks every single day on carriefitness.com. The goal is for you not to lose muscle. I want to strengthen your bones. When you strength train, you strengthen your bones, your ligaments, and your tendons. So the exercise that I provide isn't necessarily about us saying, oh, we're going to be like, sculpted and ripped, over the next month. Over time, when you're eating well and exercising, you start to see your body shift in a way that you may have never seen when you were in your 20s, 30s, or even your 40s. I am in the best shape of my life now. And I'm saying my life right now, and I started with BeBalanced back in August of 2023. And I cannot tell you, it's because the combination of really getting the hormones under control, getting my inflammation out of my body that has built up over decades of hormones. And then me, of course, exercising and strength training my folks and strength training myself has led me down a path of I'm only getting better as I go into my 50s, which is pretty exciting. And so you're all going to see that with BeBalanced, it's really great how you're able to keep the muscle, keep your bones strong, keep your ligaments and tendons strong through, light exercise, but then you can ramp up and do more because you'll have the energy because you're eating the food and you're able to really control your hormones.
Yep. Thank you, Carrie. Appreciate
You're so
that.
welcome.
So we talked about the side effects. I think everyone kind of knows what these side effects are, but one thing to just keep in mind, just a little caveat, I won't talk about this long. If you are considering these injections at all, it is imperative that you go to your doctor and get the proper blood work, because a lot of these, I could probably walk outside and somebody would hand me probably Ozempic if I wanted to, but I'm not working with somebody who's testing for markers that could be potentially fatal. But I think everyone kind of understands the nausea. I don't know about you. I don't want to wake up every day. First of all, I love food. I love real food. I love that I learned what my body works with on this program. I stopped having cravings for sugar, and I'm like, I'm craving something healthy. It's because my body's working the way it should, which is incredible. And for me, who loves food as a foodie, right, and can maintain, I lost 20 pounds 2 years ago, kept it off. And I know how to work with my body. If I want to have something, I do that, but then I can get right back on track. But I can't imagine waking up every day and looking at food and wanting to be like, ugh, when I love food. So,
and it's also like, a lot of people have the flu right now. And I always think about the fact that when you do have the flu or you have a bad cold and you're just like, oh my gosh, I just don't want to look at anything. I don't feel well. That's a lot of how you do feel when you go on these injectables. And this has been something I had to talk to for years with physicians. They're like, yeah, it sounds great, Carrie, but my patients won't stay on the medications because they just feel sick. And so does it get easier over time? It may, but by then people jump off. So with this, I feel like you're able to figure out recipes. You're able to kind of, through BeBalanced, they have recipes for you. You're able to kind of enjoy, how you're feeling about what you're eating and after you ate the food. And then of course, the next day, it's like a cycle. You just start to say to yourself, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable, because I feel like I'm, for the first time in my life, in control of how I feel, maintaining the weight loss and being able to continue this because it is a lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anything, making a lifestyle of something. And if you're talking about being on these injections forever, that's not the lifestyle that I would particularly choose. But again, no judgment zone here in this. I just want to briefly talk about the cost. Now, I love the word if you can get this on insurance. I think everybody kind of knows out in the media too, that with them pushing like that, sometimes they're hard to find. There's a lot of different things that could be whether you have insurance or not. But typically people are paying around $300 a month. I just talked to somebody. She was telling me that's more along the lines of $1,300 a month, and if you're considering being on this forever, that is a serious investment when you could reach your weight goals. And now and some people, so I just want to say on our program too, our typical woman she's struggling, right? She's doing all the right things. She's not losing weight. And she has that last 15, 20 pounds to lose and can get there in a month. Like, that's insane. And then learn how to keep it off. But for people who need to lose more, we have people who've lost over 100 pounds, and it's sustainable, it's healthy. And the cost to get to that goal versus these it's just, it blows my mind what people will be willing to pay for something that could be potentially harmful for them. So now we're going to jump into, so that was just sort of some things to think about. But this next section is sort of for people who they're on the injections and they're either looking for additional support, right? It's not working as well as they thought it would, or maybe they're trying to get off and they don't know what to do. They're worried about weight gain. So just a couple things on this. And I don't want to like alarm anybody with some of these, but a lot of people ask, when I get off the injections, like, will I gain the weight back? And just statistically showing out of 100 people, 75 of them, 75% of people are gaining the weight back and more. And those positive changes when you're talking about your blood sugar and some of the different variations that you can see on the screen there, that stops too. So the issue with that is that it's meant to stay on for life.
Right. So I'm going to interject because I want to make sure I mention the reason why most are putting on weight even more after they get off the injections is because they were so nauseous prior that they literally were like, I don't want to eat anything. So once the nausea goes away, then all of a sudden it's the twofold, because your body literally is like, I need, carbs, I need, sugar, I need everything that it knows so well. So you end up going into this, like, I just want to eat again. I want to eat whatever it is. I just want to eat again. And so this is where I like to say, you have to really think this through. There's a lot more that goes into this, and you just have to, it's more involved. But with, and I keep going back to BeBalanced because I want to be fair balanced here, is that when you're meeting with your coach, they go over what you should be really thinking about in terms of your supplements, and also, making sure they're giving you the comfort and the guidance to keep you on track with eating your 3 meals a day, having your 2 snacks a day, trying to sway you away from like having your cocktails. And I will say, I mean, I did cheat. I had a big birthday for my daughter. The first month I was on BeBalanced. So the day of her birthday, I said, I'm going to cheat. And I had pizza, I had cake, I had wine, and everybody, it was okay. So
got back on track. Yep. Yeah. So, the other thing I was going to say with this, when we talked about it earlier, with that weight loss that the statistics that are out there, that it comes with lifestyle changes, you like eating correctly. And so I think a lot of times too, when people are looking for this quick fix, they're not addressing root causes, which we'll talk about, that we address with the hormones and all those things, of the food noise, but they're also not creating a lifestyle. So when you come off of this and you haven't properly learned how to eat the way your body is meant to, obviously you're going to go back to old habits. So that's kind of a caveat too, for those people who are on the injections, want to stay on them, that we can help you. Our coaches will guide you through, will help you advance your weight loss, but also learn how to make that lifestyle so that when you are ready to come off of these injections, you are prepared. So I just wanted to go here a little bit. Other thing, so some people are like, I'm not losing weight. Why? Well, we talked about it right there. You're not doing the calorie deficit. You're not doing the exercise you're supposed to be doing, or you might need a higher dose, which often comes with like more side effects. But there's a real thing. There's always new things coming out with this, right? We've been in this a couple years now, and now it's like everyone's talking about the Ozempic plateau. And I'm going to kind of jump into the science next about, why we believe that there's the Ozempic plateau, but it's about 1.5 years in and it just stops working. And so what I'm going to jump into next is sort of why hormones become imbalanced, but also a lot of it has to do with insulin that this is regulating. So it's giving more insulin, but the more insulin you've got pumping out, the more resistant you start to become to it. And if you're not maintaining that in other ways and don't bring on like stress, if you have no stress in your life, you might be okay. But for most of us, that's just not the case. Okay. So first of all, I just want to tell everybody, and this is usually like our opening slide, not even talking about injections, but how many other diets are out there, right? How many people have tried so many different things? Maybe they had success, or they gained it back, or they fell off the wagon. And really what's interesting about what we do is it's not your fault. Okay. You weren't born that way. You don't have lack of willpower. It's hormones and it's our lifestyles. And so what we do at BeBalanced is we get that all in the check, and it's faster, safer, more affordable than most programs out there, specifically these injections. So I'll try and keep this as brief as I can because I don't want to go too much over time here. But so what's happening in the body here, right? So first of all, we'll talk about insulin, right? So insulin, that's when you're eating sugars, different things like that. Your blood sugar is going to spike, right? But the other thing people don't realize is stress also produces insulin in your body. So let's say you're actually eating healthy, but you're under a lot of chronic stress. That cortisol is also raising your insulin levels. And so you're having a hard time losing weight regardless of what you're doing. So add in their stress. So we all know about stress, cortisol. Cortisol helps you hold on to fat. But what it also does is lower that progesterone, and so does insulin. So if you're pumping up insulin in your body, whether it's through eating sugars or even these injections, and that cortisol is up, it's draining your progesterone. Now, progesterone is your best friend, fat burner, diuretic, helps you sleep, helps your mood. And what happens is your estrogen and your progesterone become imbalanced. Now, estrogen is not a bad hormone. It has its purpose for so many reasons. But when it's out of balance with progesterone, you're going to see a lot of these symptoms, the mood, the weight, the sleep. And when you get into menopause, when your hormone levels drop significantly, typically your progesterone is still lower than your estrogen. And then you've got hot flashes, you've got night sweats. So the BeBalanced program addresses all of these things. So we're going to work, we talked about this earlier, we're going to work on your stress levels. We're going to work on, your gut health with supplements. We're going to help detox your liver with supplements. We're going to be, helping you balance that blood sugar through our food plan, through the nutrition, through the supplements, through relaxation, and then also your guided coaching. So that's just a little bit about how those hormones get in balance, just to give you guys a little education. If you schedule yourself a free consultation, the coaches will go over that, but they're mostly going to talk to you about you. What are you dealing with? What are your stressors? What is holding you back? Maybe your goal is to lose weight for an event. Maybe your goal is I've never been able to lose weight. And I heard from a friend that she dropped this weight. First of all, how many clients have you brought in since our last webinar? Just from talking to people?
Maybe around like 15 plus. And I'm talking brides who are actually like in their early 30s, to mother the brides, to new moms who are literally like late 20s, hormone issues, of course, to women who are in their 60s that are clients of mine. And then I have like our, mid 40s, my best friends who are in, turning 50, to women that I train, they're in their 50s. This has been, I'm just so happy to be helping so many women, because even though, yes, men can do it too, I just feel like we don't understand that if I share this with you and I share my experience, and someone who literally like works out so many hours a day to teach and train folks, and I could not figure out my weight gain or my moods or my blood sugars, or, the fact that all this stress that I was causing myself because I was putting on 5 to 7 pounds in one day, like the scale would say 1 in the morning, and then it would say 5 to 7 pounds in the evening. And I was like, how can that be possible? I just burned so many calories. I'm eating so clean. And it was just, I was so happy that BeBalanced is my answer. It's my answer, guys. And I can help you out with strength training. I can help you all day long. I can literally change bodies, but I've got to have you, eating well. And then taking the inflammation out of your body is seriously what BeBalanced does, because you're going to be able to maintain the weight loss. I've been out now 8-9 months, and I do have other foods that I've incorporated that I am eating, and I'm not putting on the weight. And I'm like, for once, this is amazing. I'm going to be 50 and I can't believe it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I adore you. First of all, guys, I just want to say this out loud. Carrie's not getting paid to do this. I mean, I know she loves hanging out with me, and that's a bonus, but she's passionate and I'm passionate. That's why we're here today. I just wanted to sort of give that caveat out there, because this is real. This is what we truly believe. This is the way people should be eating, treating their bodies. And for women out there, right, like they're struggling and you're not getting answers. You're going to your doctor, your lab work is fine, or they tell you, eat less, exercise more, and, or that it's your age, just suck it up. Like, no, like this is not your mother's menopause anymore, ladies. Like these symptoms, even PMS and symptoms of menopause, they may be typical, but they're actually not normal. It's an imbalance in your body, and it's a warning signal. So let me jump ahead here so we don't get to. So this is if we're just talking back about if we're pros and cons, this or that. So if we're talking 15 to 21 pounds in the first 30 days, then you can either go on to your maintenance program where you learn how to make this a lifestyle and maintain it, or you need to lose more weight, this is the average per 30 days. Going back to, Ozempic for 30 pounds, 68 weeks. I don't think, those two are not in comparison. Let's just be honest. But on top of that, you're getting no side effects except the benefits of balancing your hormones, aside from this negative benefits of the semaglutide. But we're also addressing your hormones. We're addressing your adrenal glands, helping that stress, your gut health, and thyroid support. So all I see are benefits here. I don't know about you, Carrie.
All benefits.
All benefits. So I just over this again. This is like a national survey. I didn't make up these numbers, but the average weight loss 15 to 21 pounds. 97% of people said it was manageable. I don't know about you, but most programs, that's not typically the case.
Right.
And this maintaining of weight loss. Now we'd love 62% to be higher, but the national average for every weight loss program out there, if you looked it up, is 20%. So that is significantly higher than most. And on top of that, also, we're talking about those symptoms, right? So of this study, you're looking at between 70 and 80% of these symptoms, mood, sleep, energy, hot flashes, bloating are gone. And this is after we did the survey, like they've been through the whole program. And this is months later that they've, maintained this. So I just think that's incredible. I know for you, like sort of what were some of the symptoms that you were dealing with?
Well, I definitely was dealing with the bloating, the inflammation around the center of my body, which has always been very lean. Also my mood swings. I mean, my daughter can tell you, I was like up and down. Stress for sure. I just couldn't manage my stress. I felt overwhelmed. I felt anxious. I felt like, I'm not someone who used the word anxiety much, but I felt like I was dealing with anxiety for the first time in my life. Sleep was erratic for sure. My energies were plummeting, which is weird because exercise gives you more energy. And I was just not getting that same feeling that I had my whole life. And my blood sugars were a major issue for me. I was bottoming out a lot and feeling sluggish, almost like, oh, I just can't do anything. I wanted to nap, yet I couldn't sleep like throughout the night. So and those are the typical ones that you're going to go through around your midlife, and around those ages where your hormones are just saying like, enough is enough. You've got to get this under control. Help. Exactly.
It's funny too, because I've been in with this company for 5 years and I've been so blessed, and I get to, as a marketing director and doing, a lot of our different designs and things, I get to meet with clients. So I've met with so many clients who I just get to hear their story, and we sit there crying together because a lot of people were out of hope. They were feeling hopeless. They were feeling unheard. And I might tear up here, but what we do is so important. That's why we're doing this webinar today. And, we want to spread this word of that there are natural solutions. There are things you can do that not only help you lose weight, because, a lot of people come into us for the weight, but it's really more than that. It's getting your body back. And we used to always say that, I'd say you were a typical person, maybe a little more beyond typical. I think that we all want to look like Carrie, but a lot of the women, they're doing the right things, right? So when the doctor's like, eat less, exercise more, they're like, I'm doing that. Hello, it's not working. You're hitting this plateau. And then all these other things are going on too. And it's like, what's going on? And so that's where we come in with the education, with, all of these tools, and it's all laid out for you. So I do encourage you, up in the chat, I don't know if you guys saw this, there is, you can book a consultation. They're completely free. You'll sit down with a coach, speak to you, kind of go through everything that you're going through. And we do custom protocols specifically for your needs. But let me move on here and make sure we're not passing anything off. Okay, so I talked about this. So we're symptom-based. We don't do hormone testing. We can tell you why. This, your hormones are fluctuating throughout the day. You need extensive testing to even get close to the correct panels on that. So we do symptom-based, because if you come in and say you're feeling this and that, we're going to say, okay, we hear you. You're not alone. We can help. Our customized programs, as opposed to, just one size fits all. The coaching. I mean, tell me about the coaching. As a coach, what the coaching in itself, and what you get with this program is incredible. I mean, the amount of support you get and all of the things, but just talk about that for a second.
As a coach, when I'm giving out accountability and I want people to feel like they've got their bestie with them and you're going to get through this because you have a partner in crime, that's how you'll feel with BeBalanced. Now, Linda, she was fantastic with me. She was in my area. She's a woman in her late 60s who looks like dynamite.
She does. I love Linda.
She just kind of walked me through everything. And I had my meets probably every 7 to 10 days, like face to face, or you can do Zoom. And I just felt so like supported, and she's encouraging, and she's also very much about like what you need more of in terms of, you need to look at this, we need to think about this, how can I, keep you on track and make sure you get to the next point. And that's what you're really lacking in other programs, is it's just like very lonely. So, and that's why Weight Watchers has been successful with like, hey peeps, come on in and weigh yourselves. Well, here, there's a real systematic approach that's almost every step of the way, that you'll feel like you've definitely joined a phenomenal community, not only with your center that you're signing up with, the franchise, but then also there's the Facebook group. And the Facebook group is great. I still do my meditations, which is 30 minutes with a track that I'll put my earphones on, put my little sleeping thing on that BeBalanced gave me, and I'll do my meditations. You're going to feel like you're in a much better headspace within weeks, within 2 weeks, that you have never felt before in your life. And I have, become a much better person this 2023 of August till now. And I just know it's because now I look at life in a way that I'm just more, and I hate to say it, everybody, I'm more balanced.
You could say it all day long. Well, and then so also, well, you talked about that relaxation, stress management. Yeah. So just to give you guys like a heads up, so our program as a whole is 14 weeks if you only needed to lose 15 to 20 pounds. But during those first 30 days, and that's where you're losing the weight, and you can continue on that if you have more to lose. But we're actually going to tell you not to exercise, which sounds crazy, right? But when we're talking about that stress, so people don't understand when they're trying to burn themselves out, a treadmill trying to lose weight, but that is stressing your body. Now, we do want you to start lifting weights when you get into maintenance, you add more different foods, but that is like super important. Any takeaway here too is get 20 minutes a day, ladies. Like I know we're all busy. Make that time for yourself to decompress. It's extremely important. So that's part of our program. It's part of our lifestyle, and we call it, program, but and those supplementations, it's so important to be getting good supplements into your body. And ours are specifically, now we have a whole line of supplements. People have different, different things that we can help additionally with symptoms, but our basic ones too. I mean, they are the best you can buy. I know you might as well talk about it because you love talking about them.
Yeah,
I know what you're on too.
So the supplements, Jessica does. So the supplements, I've always been like very, very, oh gosh, like I'm not a fan, because there really aren't as many regulations with supplements in this country. There are zero. So, but there are companies that you can hire to come into your factories, the places, the distribution centers that make them, and come in and look at everything to make sure they're being qualified into a higher level. And there's only a few companies in this country that do that. And they are at the highest level. So there's no fillers in your supplements, and you're getting exactly what you need. So I have a daily that I take. I also take some for my liver, because your liver is 50 years old. I also have something called Be Steady that's going to help me with my blood sugars. I also take the MCT oil to put them into my coffee. And I also take a couple other, my vitamin D drops to put into my water to keep my vitamin D up, because I do go through those little moods differences with the seasons. And, but it's been, and I take my Flora, which is the morning for my gut. Now I don't have gut issues. This is because everybody at around this age, or really around 30 plus, is going to have some type of, little bit of gut issues. So mine's small. I take one Flora pill each day, which has regulated me and made me feel amazing. Yeah. And also, I just want to mention there is a supplement called Be Regular. And so when I do travel, it's really nice to actually bring that with me.
Yeah. Another thing I didn't even get to really talk about. So we have this supplement, it's called berberine. A lot of people have heard about berberine itself. Now, this also has different supplements that are included in it that do the same thing, but it essentially does what these injections do when it balances your blood sugar, but it's using a different pathway, a natural pathway, as opposed to trying to re-hardwire your body. So a lot of people who are on the injections or trying to come off of them will also kind of layer some of that into. But I just wanted to, like, when we talk about those injections causing some of those hormone imbalances too, if you are on the injections or considering them, getting that stress management in, eating quality foods, supplementing your body with nutrients, specifically if you're not eating enough, extremely important. And then, so just the last thing on our slide too, is that long-term maintenance. So we're not just going to lose weight by, our clients are clients for life. They're checking back in, they're getting supplements, all those different things. And when you talked about the gut health, we do have an amazing gut restoration program. It's called our Be Renewed program. It's typically for women who need to lose maybe less than 10 pounds, but are just dealing with that bloating, with, the sleep issues, all those things. And now they're all related. When any of our programs are going to help your gut, they're going to help, with your weight management, your ongoing, just depending on kind of what your goals and needs are. But we also have programs for people who don't need to lose weight, who are just looking for that, those symptom reliefs. And then also people who, once you get through the program with our maintenance program, to keep that weight off and truly make this a lifestyle. So I can't say enough about it. And it's not because I work here. It's because I've been a client. I get to hear client stories all the time. People's lives change. Like my favorite one time, someone was like, it was one of our coaches, and she was like, I was interviewing her, and she goes, my favorite client story is, it was actually from a man, and he goes, I got my wife back. Like that's gives me chills.
True.
Gives me
so
chills.
true.
So let me see. We did talk about this before. I can skip over it, but you know what? This is just, that's why we exist, right? So you're not getting these answers, or you're on something and you're not getting the results, or you're struggling with the side effects, or you are struggling with that food noise, or sleepless nights, hot flashes, night sweats, all those things, and you're not getting those answers. And I think there are more education coming out about menopause and what to do, but there's not a program out there like this. So we've kind of put together all these different pieces and tools into an easy to follow protocol that when you follow it works. I mean, you saw the statistics. I mean, you're a living, breathing proof. I am as well.
Right. So I do want to mention, because it's a thought that might be going through your head, it's a free consultation. Yeah. So when you're going to meet with somebody at one of the BeBalanced centers, it's a free consultation. When I had to meet with a lot of these doctors, the doctors were, $350 for a consultation, $250, $500.
That's crazy.
Programs were thousands and thousands of dollars. And so I also wanted to do my research, because if I'm going to have success, and if I'm going to feel great, and I'm going to be able to say this worked for me, I want more people to be able to do this, because this is not going to work for everybody if it's too expensive. And that's the reason why I was really happy when my best friends joined. And then I have clients that have joined. And then I have just people who literally are like, all right, you know what? I think, this is a great investment, because it's an investment, but it's an investment that you can literally stick with forever. And it's just, you just sign up once.
Yeah, I love that. So I guess I'll play this because I love it. So I could have Carrie speak on the same things. I think you've been doing this as long as Jillian Michaels has too, in the same kind of realm.
Age, yeah.
But just like one of my coworkers sent this video to me. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm just going to play the wrap up. You guys, it's actually pretty awesome that she spoke out about this, but she was kind of getting some slack on not being negative injections whatsoever, because that's not what we're here. We're not here to shame anybody. We're not, some people want to have that extra tool, maybe don't know all the facts about it, which is kind of the whole point today. But she did a really nice wrap up at the end, sort of what her thoughts were.
I have formed the opinion that this drug is not worth it, because you can never get off of it. It stops working. The side effects are pretty nefarious, and there's a solution with nothing but upside. You just eat a little bit less and you move a little bit more. And if you're struggling with that, you get a little bit of help. Some support, some counseling, a community. And that is the best way forward. Dr. DeBro, what happened, bro? What? Did they pay you?
So what I love about that, right? So again, as a fitness person, diet, exercise, but there's more to it.
Right.
And she does talk about lifestyle, obviously that stress management, but there is, so that's where it was a kind of a perfect segment to kind of talk it back in of what we do and how it's different. I wanted to make sure, guys, we were not monitoring the chat. I see that BeBalanced support, which is my dear friend Jen at the home office, was helping out with that. But if you guys do have questions, feel free to throw them in there. We can take a couple more minutes here. I just wanted to throw this out too. This is the scheduling the free consultation. Whoops, did I just leave the webinar? No, we're still here. We're good. I don't know if you guys popped that, but it's also in the chat too. We do encourage you, schedule that consultation. Tell us a little bit about your experience with that consultation and just how that went, Carrie.
I filled out some paperwork prior, and that way Linda, who was my coach, had some information. And then that was really just about your symptoms, what's going on with, you know, your side effects that you're experiencing that you have no idea where they're coming from. And then that way she can kind of talk to you a little bit more specifically during that time. I think we sat down for about 45 minutes, to be honest. And when we did, I was, you know, interviewing Linda, and I was really drilling her with a lot of questions because I just wanted to walk away as if I got enough information. I did not think I was going to sign up that day. But after about 20 minutes, I knew that I needed to do this, but I also knew I wanted to start. That's the clear point I want to make. I wanted to start within a day or two from that meeting, and I wanted to make that change. I had enough. I was so sick and tired of feeling out of control. And by the way, I thought it was maybe 6 months to 8 months before that this was out of control. It was out of control for like 5 years.
Once you start feeling better, some people don't even know they're feeling so crappy, and they're like, this is just part of age. But when you start to feel better, I mean, and it's quick, let me tell you, like, it's incredible. And, you know, what we would hope too is that whenever, you know, you come in for that consultation, if you feel like it's right for you, you know, and our coaches will tell you, you know, trust me, trust the process. And, you know, nothing's ever super easy, but when your blood sugar is balanced and you're not having those cravings, it makes it a whole lot better. When you're sleeping at night and then you're waking up the next day refreshed, it's going to help you. And then when you're seeing a half pound, quarter pound, a half pound a day on this scale, those first 30 days, I mean, that I don't know anything that's more encouraging, but it's so much more than that. Actually, there's a question here. I can go back to the chat too. So has Carrie seen what happens when people with low blood sugar like herself use the injections only for weight loss purposes when they are intended to help manage conditions related to high blood sugar?
Yeah. So that's what I want to make sure. As a diabetes specialist, I was always talking about the medication, the class, how this works with certain people who are specific. That's your type 2 diabetics. So we were never indicated, and it is not indicated for folks that are not type 2 diabetics. And so it really is about like the type 2 diabetics. Typically, you're overweight, your blood sugars are out of control, you're not consistent with taking care of yourself, and you know your insulin levels are just all over the place. So that's why those medications are available to those patients. But it really is not. And I'm just going to be candid. I'm not comfortable with folks taking these type 2 diabetic medications who don't have diabetes. And weight loss is weight loss. I know that. But weight loss programs are all out there. The one that I feel that really is starting to build up momentum is about our hormones. Mm-hmm. And it really is more about like you become a little more scared when you get just your age starts to creep towards that 50. But I'm so happy I'm able to help women that are actually just after having babies, getting, you know, they're in their 30s and they've always had some issues with their hormones. My daughter is 17. For sure, she's having issues with her hormones. I mean, I can't tell you. I think she gets her period every 2 weeks. And so there's a lot of benefit. And I actually have my daughter is 17 following the BeBalanced diet because, you know, I give her other things for her to have for like her lacrosse practice, but her inflammation is coming down. Her cortisol levels are coming down. And that's also something that I've struggled with too. I've always had inflammation quickly come into my body. And so I have no reason to I have no desire to go back to what I was doing before.
Well, and what a blessing that you have this to even educate your daughter, because by her starting some of these practices now, she's not going to have to deal with a lot of the things that people do. So there's one more question I saw pop in, then we're going to jump off here. We're trying to keep it to 45 minutes. But so Barbara is 77. She's been doing the injections for 3 months. The weight has come off slowly, but nausea and gut issues are extreme. My question is if this program is adaptable to a 77-year-old. Absolutely. This program is for anyone. You know, we might adjust things based on age, based on symptoms, things like that. But so everything that we're doing is going to help repair that gut lining. Now it's going to take time. I just want to say a caveat here, just so that the proper expectations. If people have been taking these injections for a while, it can take some time to realign your gut health. But absolutely, we can help with that. Whether you're staying on them, wanting to come off, wanting to lose more weight, we can 100% help. Our demographic is typically 35 and up, but we have, pretty much any after you are through your menstrual cycle, you're going to have issues with hormones and well into menopause. So, Barbara, that's a great question. We would love to see you. Schedule your free consultation. We can talk about this. And guys, it's a no pressure consultation.
Right.
This is not, we're not
zero.
You're not gonna. It's if it works for you, if it makes sense. But it does. It helps so many people. So, we have one more question. Thank you. Just wondered if all the people jumping on the shot bandwagon were even considering their actual blood sugar rather than considering overall health like BeBalanced does. And that's what's interesting too with this whole telehealth, that's coming out now where you can get injections everywhere. They're not doing the due diligence they need to do. And there are a lot of people who are not qualified. We had some videos. We have Dr. Victor Karsrud, who is fantastic functional. He's got about a gazillion letters behind his name. He's works with BeBalanced. He's one of our advisors. We had some video. We can send them out later. When he was talking about this, he does markers for people who come in or on the injections. Over 40%, I think he said, of people have markers for that pancreatitis, which is fatal. And so if you are considering these medications, make sure you're working with your doctor. Make sure they're doing screenings, blood work, so that if you're already at risk. Because the other statistic, I forget what, for another marker, it was like, pancreatitis, it's 13%. So that's 1 out of every 10 people is it a potential for very, very high risk. So yes, a lot of people are not thinking this through because it kind of became a craze. And when you have everyone in the, Hollywood telling you like to do this, and we trust people we see on TV, whether we, think it through or not. But that's kind of why we wanted to speak to you guys today, to give you some of that education in a non-judgmental format. But there are things you can be doing that have faster, safer, and more affordable approaches like the BeBalanced program.
I did see one comment about just if you're on BeBalanced and you want to continue, you may have more weight to lose. There's folks who have been, maybe 50 plus pounds. And so they have signed up for additional service because that is an additional cost too, beyond the initial phase of losing anywhere from 15 to 30 pounds. So I wanted to make sure because I did say it's a one-time fee, and sometimes, no, it's not a one-time fee. Sometimes if you're looking to lose beyond 30 pounds, then there is an additional cost because it's going to take a little bit more time. It's going to take a little more coaching, counseling, and attention to what your needs are. But you can get that off also. And I just want to reinforce that I think that with us doing this and helping you all, and please write more, send us information. You can go to carriefitness.com, send me even some information if you have any questions, that we are giving you the light at the end of all this to feel your best and be your best. And, that way you can give your light out to all of your friends and family and just know that life should just be getting better and better and better with the way you feel, not worse and worse. So I hope this was helpful.
Yes. Thank you, everybody who was here today. We're going to pop off. You will all get a recording of this. Please feel free to forward it, friends and family, anyone who's interested. Make sure you sign up for that consultation to learn more about, customized programs for you. And I just appreciate you spending time with us today, and have a great rest of your day.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.